Ring's new AI features, Cloudflare's AI training gatekeeping, and WhatsApp's new AI summaries. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by the MacVoices Slack. Discussions, questions, and answers, and a place to talk tech with your friends. The MacVoices Slack is available to all patrons of MacVoices. Sign up at patreon.com/MacVoices and join in. Brian, I always look to you for the sports news, and so the article I'm throwing in now, before Wimbledon, tennis finally gets some love in Apple Sports. Is this? It makes sense that they would try to bring this out right before a major like this. So I love that. I'm a little surprised they didn't get it maybe before some of the French Open. But hey, it's there. And so it speaks to the fact that Apple's paying attention to this and is continuing to develop it.
Yeah, I think anything that can bring more people into using this app is beneficial. And I personally, I don't follow tennis, not all that much, but again, just it's brings more people into the fold and it allows more people to enjoy it. I was a little confused, and I'm not sure for other users who use this Apple Sports app, but there's a line in there about MLB fans will be able to see the pitcher and batter matchups at the top of every scorecard. I did and maybe I misinterpreted it. I thought it was seeing who the pitching matchup was going to be going into that evening, like some of the other sports apps do. But apparently that's not what this is. But, that's the only thing. I made sure that I was updated on my, to make sure the app was updated to see. But that'd be helpful.
Okay. And do we have any tennis players here? No, guess not. Okay.
No. Okay. I mean, I think it's interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, Wimbledon's probably one of the biggest tournaments of the tennis circuit there is of all of them. So I already see. I was just looking in here now, and they got there's already round ones has already been active here. So they got all the scores and such, and it even gives you some betting odds too. You want to bet on it, which is kind of funny. I don't know if I'd bet on tennis, but and it's got the shows the rankings of every men's and women's tennis player. So yeah, it looks like they did a good job with this.
Can bet on anything now. So, and hey, I do want to point out that Jeff Gamet got the love reference and the double.
That's totally worth calling out.
It is. I'm proud of you. I'm a little shocked, but I'm proud of you.
No, if it had been any other week, I wouldn't have gotten it at all. But a few days ago, one of the children that's part of my world was all excited about having started to learn tennis. And so they were going on about the different ways they hold the racket, and then they explained how the points work, and so then I got exposed to love as part of the points. And hey, when a kid is excited about something and wants to tell you about it, listen and engage. So now I know that you get 15 points when you nail the ball and the other person doesn't. There you go.
From this point forward, Jeff will be known as Dr. Love.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But as Webb points out, that means nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to play that song for him.
All right. For everyone out there, hey, Siri, play Dr. Love.
Oh, jeez.
Now playing Calling Dr. Love by Kiss.
Hey, Siri, stop.
Yeah.
Some copyright infringement there.
Yeah, Roy,
Right.
please. We don't need that. We don't need that. Uh, we're inevitably going to get into some AI discussion tonight. I thought this was particularly interesting, though. Ring's AI video descriptions tell you who's doing what. This is something that Jamie Siminoff, the inventor of Ring, had apparently been hinting at for a while, and now it's coming out. You do have to subscribe to the highest tier of service to get it. And so, therefore, I have not tried it because I don't subscribe to that level of service. I do have a Ring doorbell, and I think it's interesting though that they're not requiring any special hardware. That my Ring is quite a few years old now, and apparently I have the option to get the service, get the service if I pay for that level of service. And this feels like such an obvious thing, an obvious use of AI to me that I got to believe that the other doorbell manufacturers and security camera manufacturers are going to jump on this quick. Marty?
You know, it seems like such a simple thing to be able to do. I'm not sure I want to see my dog tearing up paper towels on the rug when I'm not home. I mean, what am I going to do about it? But I guess it's important to know that. If you have a Ring camera or if you have any type of security camera, you'll be notified if strange people come to your door or strange people try to get into your house. So, with the idea of being able to identify through what the stream is, the actions that are going on, seems it's interesting.
Okay. Okay. Jeff?
I thought Amazon announced. Hold on. Oh, gotta stop licking the cat. Get those hairballs. Okay, sorry about that. All right. I thought when Google did their new A-Lady AI announcements, I've lost track of time, a few months ago, that this was something that they touted as a feature their of their new AI initiative. So announcing it now is something that you can do on Ring totally makes sense because Amazon owns Ring. So might as well give people the feature. Chuck, the fact that it works for you, even though you have older equipment, is no surprise to me at all because I'm sure all of the heavy lifting for this is being done on Amazon's AI servers and it is not being processed locally.
Jeff, I would agree with that. I guess the surprise part was that they were going to make it available, that they weren't going to try to use it as a method of upselling me to new hardware. I guess that may be why it's at the highest service level that you have to buy that. But it makes me more likely to, frankly, if I don't have to buy a new camera and then buy the same level of service if I can just get early access to it now.
Well, Amazon's business model is to sell you the services as opposed to the hardware, which is why Kindles, one of the reasons why Kindles are relatively inexpensive. And it's because they want you to buy books, they want you to buy whatever. So get you hardware in your hands for cheap, and then sell you the services where they make more money. So yeah, it makes sense to me that they would let you do it too. You've already got the hardware, now just pay for the service.
Brian?
Yeah, so when I saw this, I saw the Ring and the dog tearing up the stuff, and all of my Ring. I have a Ring doorbell as well, and then three cameras, but they're all outward facing, outside. And I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know if I would. I wouldn't put a Ring door or Ring camera inside. From the cloud perspective, all my cameras on the inside are all locally recording. And so that would be big for me. But it makes me hope that Apple Intelligence might be able to tie into this sometime in the future.
Jeff's point is another thing that I wanted to bring up. Okay, this is great, but and I too can see uses for it in outside my house. Inside my house, oh, I'm not quite sure about that unless the processing can be done on device and by someone I trust. In other words, Apple, as opposed to, with no disrespect intended, Google or Amazon or Google or Microsoft. I just don't have the same level of comfort with having those products maybe viewing everything that goes in front of my camera. So,
Right.
anybody else like this? Hate it? Think they might? Well, maybe a better question is, how many people here have a Ring camera? Okay. Jim, we haven't heard from you. Any thoughts on this? If you have a Ring?
I don't use the subscription, so don't think this will affect me.
Would you have any interest in it?
Probably not.
Okay. That's fair.
Brian, you said you have your Ring cameras outdoors
Correct.
or
Yeah.
facing outdoors.
Mhm.
So for you could get a notification that says, Brian, someone's outside stealing the catalytic converter off your car.
I don't qualify for this level of it's. I think it's their $20 a month service.
Yeah, or 200 a year. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that one. I got grandfathered into one that I think they discontinued a couple years ago. Yeah.
And
I wanna
wouldn't
say-
you know, Brian? Wouldn't you know, Brian, that Amazon during Amazon Prime days has catalytic converters on sale?
How about that?
Perfect.
If they're going to steal a catalytic converter from my car, they'll have to install it first.
I'm sure there's a package that they can sell you to help you do that, Jim. This one just popped up today on TechCrunch and on other sites, that Cloudflare, excuse me, launches a marketplace that lets websites charge AI bots for scraping. So if I have a website, theoretically, all this scraping is supposed to be coming to an end, or is supposed to have come to an end. But now I can open it back up if I get paid to do it. I kind of don't hate the idea, and it's something we've often talked about here on MacVoices Live, that if you had the option to be paid for your personal information, would you be willing to let a service or a product or whatever track you on a more aggressive basis than they already are? And so now, yeah, this lets me theoretically monetize some of my online content from my store if I'm comfortable feeding the chatbots. So I think it's an interesting concept. I don't know, Eric. I heard you say, what do you? Where's your head with this?
It's an interesting idea. It's a little early yet. I don't know how popular it's going to be. But, the concept of if my data is somehow going to disappear into some AI model, that there could be some compensation, that sounds appealing.
Okay.
Guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Webb, any thoughts on whether this is something that, I know corporately you probably, well, depending on what business you're in, maybe, but good idea, bad idea?
It's interesting. I'd be more interested in hearing about the technology and how they use it. and how they apply it. And I don't know whether we would invoke it or not corporately, but yeah, it'd be interesting to hear more about how they go about doing it. But that being said, I'm not a fan of Cloudflare, and that's all I'm going to say. So, but they did have to send their money back to me. I will tell them that. So,
Okay.
Yeah, Cloudflare's had its issues, that's for sure.
They've had their issues, but they're also one of the companies that's, I suppose, at that leading edge of trying to figure out how to let more than the AI companies monetize the AI. So it's interesting to see them doing this, and it feels like a natural progression for the tools that they've been creating for online content creators over the past couple years. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how this works, and I'd love to know more about the technology behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be finding out more about it, I'm sure, as we go along.
And I mean, you have your okay. So let's use OpenAI just as an example because that's the company everyone knows. So they're scraping information. How do you get OpenAI to agree to pay for scraping a site when they can scrape the site anyhow?
Well, I assume the idea is that Cloudflare is going to block them. They can't scrape the site anyhow. That's what Cloudflare got started, was blocking bots, blocking
that's a good
attacks.
point.
So
Yeah.
my assumption is they're turning this technology, so it's going to start a war between, but they're already in a war with bots, right? That's Cloudflare's bread and butter. So I guess if anybody's in a position to do this, it's Cloudflare.
Yeah, that's a really good point. All right. Well, now you have me coming up with another question, which is you want your site found in web searches, and AI is being used more often than it was, and probably even more so in the future, to perform those web searches. So does that mean that your website won't be able to be found or searched by future search engines that are relying heavily on AI to perform that function?
Well, and it does. Oh, sorry, Jim, go.
I was going to say that's the whole point of Cloudflare's basic service, is differentiating actual wanted traffic from unwanted traffic. And obviously the first thing you have to decide is what is wanted traffic and what's not wanted traffic. And that could be different for different people, but they're essentially saying, well, here, we'll let you decide. But, is this going to be perfect? No, of course not.
No.
I mean, we all get spam, etc. Sure, lots of bots get through Cloudflare. But, I guess they probably are in a position to catch a lot of it.
I suppose if any company's in that position, it would be Cloudflare. Yeah.
Well, looking at the graphic in the article, it shows a Cloudflare AI audit that is subtitled "Analyze and Block Known AI Crawlers from Scraping Your Site." So apparently, there is a way if you're a Cloudflare user to block crawlers, and so if it's effective, great. Then you can sell access to your content.
It's sort of a different. Before they were just like, we're going to block it. Now they're saying, well, we can not. If you're willing to sell it, we can not block the access, and you'll get money. So it's an interesting experiment. That's, interesting.
Well, I will say this. A few years ago, I had the MacVoices website DDoSed, and it was a real problem. And I have no idea how or why I got picked on, but the developer I was working with then started running things through Cloudflare, and the problem disappeared in like a couple hours. And so I have to say that my experience with Cloudflare has been positive. Now I'm again under the heading of full disclosure. I'm not a Cloudflare user at the moment. For a lot of reasons that have nothing to do with anything, but they were able to, their service was able to help me out of a spot. So this feels like it might be the same thing where, okay, if you're an AI crawler, you can't come in unless I invite you. And by the way, it does say that you can open it up for free and just let the crawlers come in, or you can charge them for it. Now, what kind of revenue stream that's going to create for you as the website owner or for Cloudflare, that's up for grabs.
All right.
So,
well, now I have another question. And this is not one I expect us to have the answer to. It's just something I'm wondering about. Does this ultimately lead to a pay-per-search model for us when we're looking for information on the internet?
yeah, that's interesting, Jeff. Well, maybe
we have that now.
To a point,
So
but
we're just paying with our eyeballs.
We're paying.
Yeah.
But yeah, does that ultimately become we pay with actual money?
well, and Jeff, how does this factor into the reports we're seeing of search traffic dropping because people are using the large language models as their search engines because they feel like better results?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that's a good question.
What does that do to the news publishing or article publishing or whatever? On that basis, do I want AI crawlers to be running around MacVoices so that I show up in their search engines?
It depends on what the future of search engines looks like. But I mean, ultimately, the answer is probably yes, because otherwise you won't show up in search results at all. I'm totally speculating here.
No, listen, it's quite possible. And that creates a whole other conversation about finding things on the web, and something that a lot of us here are familiar with, that we tell people not to build things on somebody else's platform. Build it on your own website so that you have control over it. But if nobody can find you or nobody knows you're out there, suddenly we start relying on word of mouth again. Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody jump in the time machine and see what happens in a few years.
And if it's really bad, don't come back and tell us.
Or come back and buy stock in Cloudflare.
There you go.
I love it, Marty. Spoken like a true capitalist.
I sold the DeLorean. I'm sorry. I used to have one, but yeah.
Never mind. If you had that capability, then what are you doing here now?
How do you know I'm not?
That's a really good question. How do you know he's not?
Yeah. Well, we just talked about Ring summarizing what's going on in front of your camera, your doorbell camera. This one from 9 to 5 Mac points out that WhatsApp is now rolling out Meta AI powered message summaries in the US. What could go wrong? Now, again, to be fair, the article does state that WhatsApp and Metas are saying that the messages, the summaries themselves are private, and they can't access your messages or the summaries.
So, but they're not saying this is processed on device, correct?
That's my understanding, Jeff. Yes.
Okay. So then I don't want it.
Well, I
So-
listen. I agree with you, Jim. Go. Sorry.
I just, only recently started very minor usage of WhatsApp, but are people here using WhatsApp receiving messages of such length and complexity that it's a struggle to just read them?
The short answer is yes, even if it's not us, because WhatsApp is incredibly popular, and there's a very large community around the world that uses WhatsApp like very heavily for large group conversations. So having summaries
Yeah, but
in that case would be nice.
Jim, I think it's a great question. The graphic in the articles shows 42 unread messages about the new tennis court location, time change, recap of the last match. Now you can catch up with message summaries. And so I can definitely see that, because I've been part of some chats that not WhatsApp chats, but messages chats, and it would have been great to have some kind of summary of the important points when I was either asleep while the chatting was going on, or I was away doing something else, and really was not looking forward to reading 10, 20, 30 messages. So I think there might be a place for it. It's meta, and that's.
I'm an old guy. I don't trust the AI to correctly summarize. I'm looking forward to the Zoom AI so that I can just get the summary of our meeting here and be done in 45 seconds.
So
just logging through an entire hour and a half of MacVoices.
what do you mean slogging? Wait a minute.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Okay, Jim, it's been nice having you here on MacVoices. Okay, so it's funny you say that, and I give you my word that this is the truth. But tonight, for the first time since we were on a little bit ahead of time, I decided to turn on Zoom's AI assistant, or AI companion, I think they call it.
Right.
And so
And it's saying things like, "You're doing a great job, Chuck." Right?
No, it's giving me. I mean, I can query it if I want to now or after the fact, but it's the four suggestions it gives me are: catch me up, was my name mentioned? Are there any action items? What topics have been discussed?
Chuck.
Chuck.
What did it do?
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Holy
No, I haven't.
moly, this is long.
I haven't queried it, but
I just did it.
oh, okay.
Can I get a summary of this summary?
Chuck, Jim, Chuck, Jim, Chuck, underpants, Chuck. What'd you get?
God.
Next steps, Eric, provide chicken breed cheat sheet.
Well, now
All
we know what
attendees need
Eric's
to check
action
if any
items
of the
are.
recalled anchor product models.
Marty, get me out of this, please.
Yeah, I use WhatsApp. I wish I could use it more, frankly, because I have such a hard time dealing with the Android people on my in-law side of the family. That WhatsApp, and with all the other problems, it would be very convenient for us just to go to that platform. I use it a lot because when I have international teachers come here on a grant for anywhere from 8 to 16 weeks, that's the way in which we communicate with them. And believe me, I would love to have the notifications set up when they come that give me notification summaries, because go to bed at night and wake up and there's like 60 comments from people. Half of them are thank yous, but still it's 60 comments I've got to go get through at the morning, and summarization would be great for that.
Oh, Brian, that's nice. Yeah. That's how it's used.
Yeah, appropriate there to the topic they're all talking about in WhatsApp is tennis, and I think they'd be pretty darn excited about that update in the Apple Sports app.
You would think.
Yeah.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.